Hey, Zach. Thanks for taking the time to chat today. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. I'm Zachariah Moreno, the co-founder and CEO of Squadcast.fm, where we help professional podcasters and the podcast community record studio quality audio from anywhere in the world.
And what's fascinating about Squadcast is that you have this lens into the entire podcasting landscape. So what would you say is a couple of things around how COVID-19 has affected podcasting as a whole?
Well, on the listening side, I think it's changed the audience behaviors with the reduction of commuting time. That was where the biggest surface area was for people listening to podcasts in their cars. But I think that's largely shifted to headphones and smart speakers. When it comes to the production and creative side, things have changed really rapidly towards a remote recording stack without any reduction of quality to the listener experience. So we are a web-based platform where you can connect with a guest anywhere in the world, and people connect and record together in studio quality, lossless audio locally on each person's device. And then we have some secret sauce where we push that up to the cloud in the background. So it's all very, very reliable and also automatic backup. So you don't have any anxiety about losing your recordings or anything like that. You have full transparency.
Awesome. Back to the podcasting landscape. Do you think it's affected the amount of content that's being created in the podcasting community?
Absolutely. I think people are getting a lot of their time back because they're not needing to commute. They're working from home. A lot of people are picking up all sorts of hobbies and additional opportunities to be creative. So I think getting that creative energy out through conversations, that's another factor. Being able to have engaging, flowing dialogue and recording that so you can grow an audience and start this new journey as a podcaster. We've seen in our data. So over a year of audio was recorded last month on Squadcast.
Wow.
And just a staggering growth in all things when it comes to content production.
And do you think it's changed the format of a podcast? Like if I think about how podcasts were created in studios before, what's changed in what the makeup of a podcast is?
Yeah. So even really big companies with gigantic budgets are recording with a home setup. They have their standards for quality. And we get to work with fantastic companies like ESPN and Vox and Spotify and iHeart. So being able to empower those fairly complex workflows really is validating for us.
So how has podcast production itself changed? How are people recording now versus before?
Before, I would say the prevailing thought was that you'd have to sacrifice quality when it came to recording remotely. I've seen a massive change overall into remote recording without needing to sacrifice that quality.
Nice. Do you have a specific example or story around one of your customers or podcasters that's experienced that change?
Yeah, absolutely. Kara Swisher with the Recode, Decode, and Pivot podcast. She's on Twitter talking about how she has been recording with Squadcast and amazing guests like the CEO of Slack and Andrew Yang and Deepak Chopra in one afternoon. She can schedule and go back to back to back. And for the guest experience, they don't need to be professional podcasters to get that really, really awesome sounding audio.
Anything changed about how the way interviews are done? You mentioned with Kara that you could do things back to back. Are anything else that you're seeing changing in the way interviews are recorded?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of getting out of the one-to-one conversation and expanding to 3 and 4. There's also different use cases when it comes to having passive people in the session with you that you don't need to use their recordings, but they can provide talking points and fact checking. I don't think people would necessarily do that if they were in front of their guest. And then also the speed of production is increased by recording remotely. So you get your files as soon as you click stop and you can immediately cut that into an episode. I've seen people do it in like 10, 15 minutes where they're not sacrificing anything when it comes to quality. So that was the concern with these larger teams that joined our platform. You know, they're recording daily and their timeline is very condensed and very rapid to get that episode out. And I think that would be a little more challenging when it comes to a physical studio and the setup is longer and, you know, you have to worry about your own backup stack and things like that.
What's been the biggest challenge?
Being able to collaborate remotely is not really the same as recording in person. So what we're always after is moving the conversation in the direction of being closer to reality and having more of that in-person feel and flow. And that's really why we've always had video for our conversation. So you get the body language and eye contact. And with the spatialized audio from Dolby I/O, that just really takes that to the next level. So we're really excited to be adding that to our platform here in the coming months.
And so as you think about the podcasting industry at large, what's your hack to get over the challenges of working in COVID?
One thing is just wearing headphones and how that removes the need to have any sort of echo cancellation or processing to the audio after the fact. As much as I love the Dolby magic and science that you're able to do for mastering, I think we can all agree that the better quality source material that you can start with, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And it really comes to matter much more when it's a remote conversation.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Awesome. Well, thanks again for taking the time, Zach.
Thank you, Sripal. Appreciate it.
Take care.